This James Charles situation is about to get real messy, y'all. At the time of me filming this video, Kayla has not released any information that came out from the court situation to her ex-boyfriend, Evan Johnson, but James Charles did release a little statement, okay? If you guys haven't followed up with all this craziness, I'm gonna give you a brief little rundown, okay, so that way you guys don't have to go back to my other videos. But if you guys want to, they are there. I did actually make a 20-minute video going into way more details about all of this situation, but I'm gonna give you guys a brief little context. There's this girl, Kayla Malik. Y'all, I still don't even know if I'm pronouncing her name right. Because, by the way, y'all, after I filmed that video, I'm all scrolling through TikTok, and then other T pages are talking about her. And then, like I said, some say Malek, and then some say Malik. So I'm just like, I don't know. Anyways, there's this content creator named Kayla, okay? She was actually friends with James Charles. She's collabed with him before. She was dating this guy, and he turned out to be very abusive, okay? They ended up breaking up, and then James Charles took this as his opportunity to house this guy and end up hooking up with this guy. If you guys have not checked out the Be Better podcast, check it out, y'all, because he did a full-on interview with a guy that was friends with Evan Johnson that outed James Charles, okay? Because he did have DMs between James Charles and him, and y'all, things look to, let me say, seem to be confirmed that James Charles did hook up with his friend's ex. And here's the thing, the whole internet was like, oh my gosh, how could he hook up with somebody who abused his friend? I had stated within my video, and as of right now, I still haven't seen any, definitive proof that he did in fact know that Kayla was being abused by him. I still stand true in my opinion that I feel like it's shady regardless. I don't care if he was the best partner ever. It is so shady to hook up with your partner's BF or ex-BF. There is, 8 billion people on the planet now, and you're going to go choose to hook up with your friend's ex? To me, that is just so grimy, okay? Even if, let's say, for example, even if he was an abuser, okay? Anyways, he has been staying silent now for, I want to say it's been about a month that James Charles hasn't said anything, and obviously everyone is starting to catch on now, what's going on here, because this guy from the Be Better podcast had said that he did see with his own eyes that James Charles did hook up with Kayla's ex, Evan Johnson, okay? I guess there is a Snapchat video saved on Evan Johnson's phone of him allegedly hooking up with James Charles. This is where shit just gets so messy, so shady. Kayla is saying, though, as soon as court is over, or as soon as it settles down, she's obviously, being advised by a legal team that she is going to talk about the situation more as soon as she can. And I am just so curious to know this whole James Charles situation, because like I said, okay, in my opinion, it really does seem to be true. Obviously, we do got to leave a tiny little percentage for it to be false, and that some things were falsified. However, y'all, I read some DMs within that last video that I filmed about James Charles, and I'm like, it seems legit if you ask me, okay? Anyways, before we get into that, I do want to talk about Trisha Paytas, though, y'all, because there is going to... Okay, if you guys don't remember, it was a few years ago as to where James Charles and her were beefing on TikTok. She had made some comments about him, and then he felt the need to go off on her, and it was just this whole entire thing. And I think that it's so funny, though, because actually, if you guys don't recall, when he was going off on Trisha Paytas, he's saying all these things about her and her past, because yes, she does have a very controversial past, and she has done a lot of, controversial things, and she's probably, done a lot of offensive things, which, hey, this is why I look at people like her, and I'm like, I really do feel that people can learn, change, and grow. I feel like she was that type of person, that she was going through so damn much in her life, that she was seeking attention in any type of way that she can, that she would do the most outlandish things, she would say the most outlandish things, and obviously that would offend people in the making. But I think now, at least for the past couple years, she has been so, I don't know, I would say newly guided. Do you know what I mean? I feel like she is definitely now a new version of herself. And this is where I say it's so funny that James Charles was shitting on her for her past, but then he can't hold himself accountable for his past, because it's homeboy, you have made a lot of mistakes too, but yet within every single situation, he acts like he's the victim of it. And it's no, homeboy, you have taken your role in this. So I do want to go ahead and start this off to playing a clip to where Trisha Paytas had said some things before about James Charles. This is old, by the way. I don't even know how old it is. I want to say maybe 3 years old, maybe 4 years old. It's been a hot minute, but it's now going back around on TikTok and blowing up, because it's oh damn, Trisha knew all along. Check it out.
How is it that James Charles is the victim in every single situation? I've never heard of someone so innocent and just always the victim.
There you saw, she is saying James Charles is the victim in every single situation. And Yes, that is old, but obviously it still applies to now because obviously we can tell by his actions that he is not really coming out and like making an apology. Do you know what I mean? I will get into his statement in just a little bit, as you guys can see, as to why he hasn't come out with a statement, but I am so damn sorry. I at least would have put out a notes app apology about this. You know what I'm saying? But I think that he is being advised by a team, okay? Anyways, I do want to say this as to where like she specifically said like him being a victim is because if you guys didn't see, even Bretman Rock kind of had the same type of, you know, feelings towards James Charles because he did do an interview before and he was like, the beauty community was just too damn ugly. I had to get up out of there. Everyone is like filled with apologies, but then they do the same thing over and over again. Come to find out, he was low-key, you know, kind of being vague, let's just say, about James Charles because he ended up making a video with this girl to where they were cooking and he said he hates the name James and he was like, oh, I'm sorry to every James out there except for one because you're ugly on the inside and the outside. Obviously, everybody was like, oh, this is James Charles. Like, he is 100% talking about James Charles and he never denied that it was about James Charles. So clearly there is beef there. Anyways, y'all, fast forward to now before we get into James Charles, you know, the way I like get calls literally in the middle of me filming and it throws me off. I'm like, throws off my whole thought process. Literally, that was me right there. Before we get into James Charles' whole, you know, statement about this, which was very tiny, by the way, I do want to go ahead and play another clip from Trisha Paytas' podcast where she was talking to her sister about the James Charles situation. And I'm like, y'all, I gotta keep it real with you guys. More people need to talk out about this. They really do because I feel like James Charles I really do feel like as soon as everything comes out about this, I think that he's still going to be fine. They did this whole James Charles mass unfollowing. He only lost like 800,000 followers. And I'm like, really, when you have over 40 million followers, what is 800,000? Do you know what I mean? So I think people need to speak out about this because clearly this is repeated behavior of James Charles of just being a really shitty person. So check out what Trisha Paytas had to say now.
Back to James Charles. I don't know. I feel like we'll be getting an apology video again.
Well, I don't think it's happening. It's been now 2 weeks we've been talking about this and no apology video. No acknowledgement. We've been
no
saying
acknowledgement.
This, yes, no acknowledgement. We've been talking about this on Hot Topics for a while and it's blown up everywhere. Obviously, James has been silent on this.
That's sad. I feel bad for Kayla.
Yeah, of course.
Because I thought they were really good friends.
That part. And he is an older friend of hers and like should know better. And all you have to do is put out a statement, you know, don't condone it, not friends with this person. And he has done nothing. Silence is loud.
And I think whatever he thought his comment or whatever, the comment under the video was of like, oh, can I have him now? Not funny, not needed,
right,
unnecessary, hurtful.
Well, there was a new interview last week. Did you see there was a friend of
Evan?
Yes, that said that they had hooked up and had a sexual relationship.
I did see that.
I guess Kayla's back in Nashville today. I saw her. She's going to court with him. So and the James Charles of it all is having to be part of this is like
how is he always in something?
Always. Every year. I saw someone do an analysis of this on TikTok. They were like, this is like nothing new. Like he gets canceled in a very big way. And canceled like the worst word for this because it's like it sounds like drama. It's like he gets called out for like inappropriate behavior year after year. It's always kind of proven. He always kind of admits to it, kind of says sorry, and then just moves on. And like people like forgive him. And it's like, but then like a pattern happens again where like this happens again and again. And it's just like,
and it's always like, I didn't know. I'm going to take accountability. It's like,
but he hasn't even said any of that.
When is it going to happen?
And he's also 26 now. So he's no longer like an 18-year-old.
The way I know James Charles hates Trisha Paytas, y'all, I just know it because she obviously has a very big platform. She has a lot of viewers, as y'all heard from right there. And low-key, I agree. She's like, James Charles always does these like things that are like really bad or whatever. And then he'll come out and he'll apologize for it. Y'all, somebody put a compilation video together of all the times that he made apology videos, and I didn't know it was that many. In my head, I don't know why I could only think of 2, but y'all, they put a compilation together. There was like 5. I was like, oh, damn, I missed all these. So when she said that, I was like, low-key, she is exactly right, that he'll come out and he'll kind of like, you know, apologize for it, but then he'll just kind of like, oh, okay, sweep it under the rug, and then everybody forgives him. And that is really true, y'all. Like, this is just proof right here that obviously he is not ever going to be canceled. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like, look, y'all know I've said time and time again, specifically why I started doing commentary up on my channel is because I was like, damn, I'm getting so frustrated with cancel culture. People are being called out for this, and that. Like, oh my God, you made an offensive joke 10 years ago. That shit triggered me. I was like, nope, I gotta make videos because I'm so tired of people acting holier than thou, and I don't like that shit. And I've always said, no, I don't think people need to be canceled. James Charles, I think he does. I am so sorry. The things that he has done, just the way that he is, and clearly he is, y'all, I hate calling people like the word like this, but y'all know it starts with a P, okay? I'm not trying to get my video demonetized, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And I'm really starting to see, like, oh my gosh, like, really, maybe he is going to be the next Diddy, honestly. Like, that's just my opinion, okay? Because I really do feel like the way he is moving, he needs to be held accountable to this shit. And it seems like time and time again, every single time that he comes out with some, shit like this, let me apologize, let me cry. And then everyone's like, oh, okay, we're back to being fine. So that's why I'm kind of glad that Trisha is speaking out about this. More people need to speak out about it. Let's go ahead and get into his statement, okay, that he posted on his Instagram as well as his TikTok story. And I am so sorry. By the way, I forgot to tell y'all too, is I was like being nosy going through the comments of his latest TikTok, which at this point now I want to say has been up for about a week, maybe even longer. And y'all, I was being nosy and I was like seeing on there that he's deleting comments because there was some top comments that I had saw on there calling him out and then they were deleted. So I'm like, there's some shady shit going on right now. And I don't like that because I feel like if you're out there and like, obviously, you're acting a little bit shady and you're deleting comments, like people can say whatever the hell they want to say, but you're actively deleting comments while not speaking out. To me, you look shady as hell. Okay, that's my opinion. This is what he posted right here. I do not support Evan Johnson. I am hoping and praying that Kayla gets justice tomorrow. As I promised her privately, I will not be responding publicly to anything until after the hearing is over. I specifically want to emphasize on the as I promised her privately. I will not be responding publicly, okay? I think that he obviously threw that in there to show that they have been in communications privately, okay? So maybe he sent her an apology. Maybe he, I don't know, sent her roses or some shit. I don't know what the case is. Obviously, we will see within, time. But I gotta say this, okay? There is no apology on the planet, okay, that I could forgive somebody for like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if one of my friends hooked up with my partner, I'm not going to forgive you. I'm sorry. You can tell me you're sorry all you want. Nope. Because there is just so many other people out there, especially James Charles, okay? He is young, he's rich, he's famous. There is so many other people that he can hook up with and you're going to choose to hook up with your friend's partner. That is so damn shady, okay? I am sorry. I stand by that opinion because I would never do that to somebody. Like, yes, I understand like things happen and you may hang around with somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, like I have feelings for this person, but it's up to you as a grown-ass adult to stop those feelings. Do you know what I mean? And be like, nope, this is not right. I can't do it. Even though I feel a little something for this guy, I can't do it. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like, ugh, I don't know. Anyways, we're obviously going to see how this whole court case, comes about. We're going to see if Kayla speaks out. I do have to say this, though. He did obviously throw in there that he spoke with her privately, but she is publicly liking comments about him, okay? And she actually had made a comment towards somebody else about him as well, too. She literally just said that or whatever to a text about him or a DM, not DM, oh my gosh, a comment about him. So I'm like, she's still actively liking comments about him. So clearly he did do something wrong. I don't think that she would be out here liking all these comments about him. If you guys checked out my other video about James Charles, you guys would have saw this. She wouldn't be liking all these damn comments if it wasn't true. So that's just my little 2 cents on it. I'm so curious to know when he's going to address the public, if he's going to do it on YouTube, if he's going to do it on TikTok. How is he going to do this? Because I'm like, yo, how's he going to come back from this? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, but if you guys really are like, girls out there, if you guys are real good friends, if you guys are good people, okay, it is so fucked up what he is doing. Like, I'm just like, oh, he's grimy. Anyways, make sure you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions about everything. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, Girl Scout.